see if he will. Sure.
Damn, but he got a full ride, which is
For
good.
either way, he's straight. It's cool.
Yeah,
Straight.
you didn't have to pay for nothing. Um,
Not a damn thing. Our first bill was like $41, family. So
Come
everything
on.
he live on the joint, food.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah, got some
That's
good.
good, bro. Especially because I don't even really think he don't even know who you are for real, who you was.
A little bit. He tried to
None of
on the
that. No,
senior
he
stuff.
don't
Not
know
not
though.
real.
He
Not
don't know. He don't.
real.
He don't know. Uh, Cha, bit, click. He ain't knowing about. He ain't knowing about none of that though. You know what I mean?
For hey, you know he listened to somebody for his senior year. He put Mac James Jr. on this. I'm like, nah, Junior. That's specifically. His middle name
Damn,
is James,
full
but
ride.
yeah, full ride.
So how did that translate when, like, far as like, cause he seen you get down on the court, right? And I know he seen you battle and talk crazy. You talk the most craziest stuff on the court.
Yeah, crazy but cool too. Like almost gonna be
Yeah.
right,
That too. Not just dummy crazy too. It's
right,
disrespectful, but you kind of gotta. You play better through that.
right. I like
Me
when it
too.
talks. Right, yeah, I like when it gets
Especially
said.
playing younger people, like y'all don't even recognize really how old I am,
Right, right,
or who I am.
right.
You know what I mean, or who I was, who I am, and who I was. So, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Like even when I met you, I didn't even meet you. So I seen you on the court hooping in the morning, 5 a.m. At Genesis with TJ and them.
Yeah, that
I
was
think
the morning
TJ was
run, right?
there.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
You
that's
did
my
the
guy.
morning
Yeah, for
runs
that
or
shit.
whatnot, and you was like, they was like, who got him? It was one of them things. Like if they ain't yelling who got him, he ain't really. He gonna shoot, bro. He gonna pull up from any. You know, kind of like he'll pull up from anywhere. Look, if that ain't going on, y'all just
Right.
stop. Don't even think about it, bro. So, but they were saying, who got Roy? Like I ain't thinking nothing about. I'm just like, this nigga really can shoot for real, for real. You know what I mean? So I can shoot. So when I see another Negro that can shoot, I be like, and we ain't just the dummiest of athletic at this age or whatnot. So I think we ended up hooping with each other somehow. I don't know how that
Right.
happened, but we didn't. We was hooping for
We
like
didn't
2 hours
Right.
straight. Didn't look. Me and him ain't lost ever. And I think it was like, was it 3 on
We did some threes. With threes,
three
yeah, it
or
was threes from
fours or
in it.
something?
Well, I think we started at four, and then some folks slid out and with some three on
Didn't
three.
lose a didn't lose a game. And you got to understand, because he's talking crazy. I'm kind of talking crazy, and we got fours. The third was cool. The fourth was these other teams got like they're looking to grab four people that's excellent. So you know what I mean. We at a it's getting tougher by the moment. We're playing 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. Like we're winning, and y'all trying to grab the best four out of the gym. You know what I mean?
Damn
So
near.
it's getting tough, and we ain't got just the greatest of teams, bro. It's just really me and bro, and we damn near telling our other homies, "Hey, bro, just watch out. We got this."
Right.
They picking us up at the 3 point line, bro. It's crazy. It was crazy. That was crazy. Do you remember that
Yeah, I
though?
remember that. Yeah, yeah. Independence, right? I remember that. I wasn't missing. I mean,
So did you always have that?
yeah. So actually, that's a big part of the story too. I started with hooping and had the opportunity to play actually some Division I basketball
Yeah.
and just smoked it because I was wanted to rap, wanted to be in the streets. That kind of goes into the Mac James story, and I really was that kind of kid first. Like I was really just a ball player first. You know what I'm saying? So
Shut up. From where? So are you born and
graduated from
raised here?
Grandview. Yeah, yeah,
Born and
yeah,
raised here.
yeah.
What year did you come out?
99.
99. So this is before the Freemans and all that, I would assume,
Yeah, that
right?
was right. That was like 10 years before Freeman. I'm an old head fam.
99.
And then also Ali Burke came around that time. My
Oh,
team
gotcha,
mentor too.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. So
Yeah,
that so
Grandview
when
got
did
some
the
boys like Hooper. They could, like
they
some
did
ball players.
Grandview? I'm gonna get into Grandview later on, but how did where did the mic come in at then?
You said what?
Where did the mic come in at?
Well, I always loved music from the beginning. So my pops was a bass player,
Okay,
and what I mean, he always had me in bands. I actually was at this event, and I just brought it. It reminded me of this old story because this actually his brother named Darren Story. He's an OG. He was with Mint Condition, and he was hosting it, and they were asking about some old stories and stuff. And I was like, well, how I got into music, and my pops played the bass, and he would have me in the Inferno. I think it was like off like 36 and Truce or something. That he would be in there playing, and I'd be in the back, so I got to see him play live, which probably shouldn't have been there. But that really sparked my love for music. Started producing, and I started rapping, man. I was a young
Just
kid.
started rap. Who got you into rapping though? Like, where did the rapping come from? Like, I know where the music came from, but where? Like, I'm about to write. I'm about to pen this. Was it somebody you was
Right.
around that was already rapping?
Not really. I just think it was just hip hop culture overall, and then man, it was some real in depth stuff. So I think the first time was when I was really doing poetry first to start.
Okay.
And so one of the things that I did into my elementary school, well, I had to do something for Martin Luther King, and I said it in front of like the whole school, and I memorized it. Then I was probably like third grade, so
Oh.
it was like two whole sheets of paper, memorized it, and I was writing poetry. So initially, like poetry was my gift, and I think the hip hop inspired me to. Matter of fact, I listened to all the early stuff because my pops he listened to he was listening to the Chronic back in the day. Even before that, he was listening to
Yeah.
Public Enemy, stuff like that. So I was hip. But it's crazy. I was just having this conversation the other day. I think it was Criss Cross, fam. When they came out when we was kids, that was my first time like seeing kids rap.
And them beats was so crazy back then.
That was my first
Oh.
time seeing kids rap, and I was like, hold on, fam. So we would be in the bus, you know what I'm saying? I was with Border Star, me, a few of my homies, I mean, beating on the bus and spitting. So I think seeing the kids rap is what I was already into poetry, love hip hop culture, seeing the kids rap, I'm about to rap.
So he was in it early.
Yeah, early, yeah, I was early, yeah. Like I said, third grade, we was on the school bus, spitting.
So third grade. Okay. Let me rewind this though. What was your grades from kindergarten through six? I'm trying to paint something right quick.
What my grades look
Yeah,
like?
yeah, yeah.
Now, elementary, I was stellar. I
So
was advanced. I mean,
so straight A's.
yeah, I was like what they call it, gifted and talented. They had like different programs like that. Like I was in that elementary, I was
Interesting.
stellar.
So six. So we gonna go from there till when did the grades start to slip? Just to tell.
Middle school, it was gone.
Where'd you go?
So first I went to Lincoln Middle, and so actually it wasn't even. I went to Lincoln at that time. It was 6 through 12. So I went to Lincoln. Wasn't no they didn't even break it up into
Okay.
Lincoln Middle yet. So it was 6 through 12, and I was at Lincoln, and then that's when I was always a little bit taller. So when I was in sixth grade, I was getting hit on by like the 10th graders. You know what
So
I
you
mean?
started
So
feeling
I was
yourself a
like,
little bit.
hey, you feel me? So I thought, the focus on the books went out the window. I mean, like, so I still was able to at least kind of maintain like a C average, but I was really an A+ student. I just wasn't applying myself.
So was light skinned cats in back then at this time?
And like I said, Chris Rock, I remember the main rapper, Chris Rock, he was light skinned brother.
Oh, so
I was kind of, I was on the always made
you
a
kind of
way
got the
in.
cheat code
It was
located.
it. It was man, it was.
Cheat code out.
And right, you feel me?
September 8th. No,
Yeah,
but
so.
so you middle school came. That's when you started feeling yourself, right?
Yep.
Grades really didn't matter at this point. You can get them. I get them whenever I get them. So high school hit,
Right.
and you went where?
So high school, then we moved out south, and I went to Grandview. So I started Grandview. After I started Grandview, 8th grade.
Hold on. Let me rewind this too right quick. So y'all grew up in the 50s?
So in the 60s, 70s, then went to Grandview.
I thought I
But later
remember a
was the 50s.
song.
So I came
Later.
back to the
Gotcha,
50s.
gotcha.
So,
Okay.
so that was like almost like
But out south though.
60, mostly out south. 60s, 50s is still, that's Midtown. But started in the 60s, 70s, moved to Grandview. And then when that's part of the story when I got into the rap and I connected with Diamond.
Whoa.
That's what took
Were
me
you
back
still
to
in
the
school?
50s. This was right after high school. I graduated. Like,
Okay,
as
so
soon as I
middle school
graduated.
out of there, high school, sports,
Sports, I was playing basketball. And so
playing ball, and then
actually, when I was at Grandview, listen, I'm a humble county. Like well, I played. So at the time, like, so I'm not about to just gas it, but I was actually transferring from Grandview to Ray South when Lathrop was there. Lathrop was
hold on, let's rewind.
pretty much
Freshman year.
No, this was
No,
gonna be going into my
let's
junior
rewind
year.
it. Freshman year, you hit Grandview.
Grandview,
All right,
right.
what happens?
I balled out at Grandview. My grades was decent because the teachers liked me because they knew I was a good player.
Okay.
I played freshman and some JV, so you know what I mean. That varsity was so stacked. I wasn't gonna play on varsity, but I played JV also.
Okay.
Because Grandview had some boys, so I played my freshman year, freshman and JV.
And then slid up out of there.
What you mean out of Grandview?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I
Shook
graduated?
Grandview and went. Yeah.
No. So here's what's gonna happen. So our sophomore year, we played against Ray South, and so Bud Lathrop's son was coaching the JV team,
Okay.
and at that time they was cold. They was undefeated. They had Wade on that team. I mean, these boys should have been on varsity, man. Like they had some cats on their team, and they was balling that year. They was undefeated, but we was the first team to beat them. And I put up like 19 in the first half. This is JV tournament, and then I ended up with like 28 or something. And so Bud Lathrop's son see me play, told Bud, and at that time my step pops was coaching. Reffing Banks, and Banks
Shut up.
yeah.
This is nuts. Okay, all right, go.
My step pops was
Okay.
reffing Banks, and Banks at that point he was respected in the ref shit. He had a
Respected.
tough
So
early.
you had it rough
Yeah,
in life.
You feel me?
What?
So Banks, yeah, that's what my mom Marion Banks. And so my
Interesting.
step I grew up with Banks probably from like since I was probably about 13. That was like some whole other stories. You know what I mean? But to the basketball side of it, he connected me in with Eric because I went over his house, had dinner. They was like, you come over here. Worst case scenario, I got alumni at Mizzou will get you to MU. That's worst case scenario. So I potentially, looking back, probably might have been playing with Kareem because me and the same age, like one time I came out. So the first year, so fast forward, I'm like, bet. So I did all the stuff. My pops actually had an apartment in Raytown. Got all the stuff to move to go to high school there. This is the dumbest, bro. This is going to be the dumbest thing. I done admitted, bro. I'm going to admit it, though. I went there the first day, right? First day was a half day. It was all red. It was all Bloods. Back then, like me and my guys really thought we was crippin', man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So let me just tell you how silly that sounds right now. Keep it 100 with you. So it was all red, and it was one other dude there who's blued up, and we like, it was, you know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I kind of had an ally there. Bro, we in high school, so I'm just saying where the mindset was going. Like, and so after that, I wanted to go back to Grandview. I'm like, man, I want to be around people. I didn't want to be around, you know what I mean? And so back then, the transfer stuff wasn't as tight. So I could move back, and it wasn't. So this is like I said, 97, you know what I mean? So moved back and finished my years at Grandview and ended up getting screwed around at Grandview. So I should have, if I'd stayed at Ray South, for sure, I'm not going to say pro, but I would have played definitely, Division I basketball.
Who's the Crip homie that was?
I don't even remember, fam. Like I don't remember.
It was your only homie you had?
It was a half day. It wasn't, you know what I mean? It was a half day.
You went there a half day and left?
And wasn't no...
The half
no
day, you didn't
media.
even let it marinate.
And that's why really, as I went back, I had a conversation with my mom and my pop, like, what y'all... Because actually, and that was credit to Banks, he was hot. He's like, man, I did all this, got you lined up. And so he was hot. And then, but my mom's and my biological dad was, do whatever you want to do. So
you didn't play AAU at all then?
Yeah, I played some AAU. I played for the KC Blues when I was younger. I played for Lakers with Pons. That was more kind of, I think, South Suburban. So I played some AAU basketball.
What got you not playing with Piggy?
I was actually playing with dang man, I can't think of the name of the team. I'm mad about it too. It was one of Piggy's guys. But we went and won the Show Me State games. I'm gonna go have my guy tonight. Sam, my guy Sam from Central, Mike Watson. Mike Watson wasn't on that team, but I played with them. But I think Watson might have been on that team when we went up to Show Me State games. Homer was on that team.
Yeah, shout out to Homer. Shout out to Marley.
Right.
Marley brother, Homer, right? Yeah.
Both
Okay.
bros, man. So yeah, that was Homer was on that team.
So high school. All right, let's do this. So the rapping came after high school then?
So I was rapping in high school.
When did you get heavily? So you was rapping solo or what? What?
So I was rapping solo, but I had some guys. So that we started the Chop It Up clique kind of just
in high school.
Together. Yeah, a lot of them came together. Crazy enough. So two of my guys already. So Solo, my guy. So Lizzo.
Yeah.
That's my guy. We got connected with him through one of my dudes I went to elementary school with. He's in the 50. My guy Chris Flinders, Killer Pope. I got tied in with So Lizzo. He's called Solo back then. My cousin Sterl, SS, Hoax Slope. So that was kind of my core because I grew up with them. Really, me and S had grew up since we was way back to elementary. When I first started rapping, I was talking about Chris Cross, and S was around then. So I had a couple of guys, And then when I linked with Don Miller, out of all people, Don Miller in Grandview was the one who connected me with P and Rib. And
What about Brando?
Brando C, my bad. Brando C was that he was one of my guys I grew up with too. So Brando was that the core was me, S, Solo, and Brando to start.
Okay.
And we was all doing music in high school. So like I said, since my pops was doing music, he had like the little, MP60 and the boards.
Darren Story. So my pops did music. I want to say with Brandon Stories. He was in a
Darren
band.
Story, yeah, it was Mickey
Maybe he was in a band with them. I think so.
Bottom Line band.
I'm gonna do the history and
my
I'm gonna
pops,
research
they was
that.
in the Bottom Line band.
Yeah, because Pops played
He
the
played
drums. Like he did
your
everything
pops played
basically.
drums?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up.
He did
I know
drums
there
and
was
all
some- I
kind
know
of
it's some
shit.
tie in there for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So high school, y'all started rap. So y'all created Chop It Up Clip in high school.
Right. Yeah.
The name and
I
everything.
came up with the name in high school.
Come on, tell
And
us
so
what
and then
happened.
we didn't. So actually, first it was just all right. We was calling ourselves the Undertakers, right? And I really think that was mostly based off like the WWE character.
I'm glad that didn't work out. I'm glad that didn't work out for y'all.
But we just called ourselves the Undertakers, right? Because we was
How long did that? About a half a day? That half a day?
no. Well, actually, that first Chop It Up album is called the Undertakers,
Shit.
and it's spelled like under data cuz like under. It was probably
I'm act
spelled
like I don't know it.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was all because I was kind of tied in with that with like some. It was crazy because the Midwest. We was at that time really on the underground Bay Area heavy. So it was tied in with like the Gory, like
Yep.
Brother Lynch. Still, but not the same. Like back then, it was like the Lynch. That was actually like some sick stuff. You know what I mean? Like Sebo and that Sebo not as quite as sick as Lynch, but that's what we was on. You know what I
We
mean?
was,
on
definitely.
that stuff heavy. So that's why I think Undertaker was more like some. Like I talk about this story. I went from a ball player to almost like now I'm this character. You know what I
To
mean?
give you some credit, Undertaker was the cat back then. Anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was what was going on. Undertaker. What was the other cat name that was shaking the ropes and shit?
Yeah, Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, he was
Do you
that.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Hulk
That was
Hogan.
my favorite. Yeah.
So did you already have Mac James the name at this time?
I did. By high school, I had Mac James. By about 15, 16, I had Mac James. And at the time, it was really bad. It wasn't even because you hear Mac Dre and big love and rest in peace to the legend, Mac Dre. It had nothing to do with like the Bay Area stuff. When I was like, I thought I was a Mac as a kid. Like I was goofy, man. Like I was a young kid, really. That's why I said in high school when I was in Lincoln in the 6th grader, as a 10th grader, and the girls
The
rapping with me.
teachers in your pocket and
Right,
shit.
I was like, I thought I was trying
Okay,
to
that
say
makes
Mac.
sense.
And my middle name is James. I'm like Mac James family, and so it just kind of.
I was gonna guess that too. I was wondering where the James came
Yeah, so
from.
Roy, my first name. I usually like when I was younger, I didn't even go by Roy. I went by just James. Everybody called me James all the way through Lincoln, and then when I went to Grandview, I started going by Roy. I just changed it up.
All right, so let's we gonna high school. Y'all got the click. It's a Chop It Up click, right? Did you already put out y'all first disc before y'all got out of high school?
So I dropped my first album, Premeditated. That was before Undertakers. I dropped Premeditated, but it featured some of Chop It Up. So Brando was on there, S was on there, Solo was on there, Riv was on there, 9 Miller. They was on Premeditated. And so I was recording that my senior year of high school. Going up into that, like my sophomore and junior year, I was just recording tapes in my pop's basement.
Well, yeah. So this is 98.
97, 96,
90.
well, 97, 98, and then 98, 99, I graduated 99.
Premeditated.
Came out in 99.
In 99, I went to I started going to Van Horn in 99. Premeditated was going around like crazy. And Mac James, the name Mac James is. You had Chop It Up Click, but Mac James was a name that was going around. Damn near like your Tech Nine, like your Riches, like your. But I feel like you were more closer. Somehow, I don't know how, but I just remember Mac James being like it was a big deal.
I appreciate that.
Premeditated. I don't know how. Premeditated was the first. My homie Trive, he used to be up on all that shit, but I had all the burnt CDs of this shit. Did you make your own beats too?
Yeah, at that point I was producing all my own music.
And that's what I was hearing. It's like, bro, he can rap this, that, and the third. And you were the first person that was stretching their words out, if that makes
Right,
sense.
yeah, I'm with you.
So it was like an intriguing sound, but at the same time, you could chop it up. It's like you could do, like you was a communion down there. Was you, did that stardom come fast? And if so, how did you become a name like that so fast within 2 years, Loki?
Right, well, a couple of things. I think one is when I put that album out in '99, it was maybe I'm gonna say 10 to 15 rap artists with CDs out. And when I put that album out, Premeditated, Mr. Stinky's joint was out, Veteran Click. Obviously, you had Tech Nine and Rich. You had Lee Joe. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
some cats. I'm thinking we was like the only. I'm just saying if you one of like 10 or 15 cats who got a CD that was physically wrapped, and I was about presentation. I physically wrapped it. I was in the KC, stepping in Missouri. One of the things I remember when I first dropped that, I went to Hot Summer Nights and Rich the Factor was there. And Rich was like, yeah, he's like, I copped it. You was in the KC and standing in Missouri. That's it. So, and then with them moments, I was like, all right, like, I felt a fit. Rich is who we grew up
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
I mean, especially in the streets, like Tech, no question what he's done and what he's still doing. But like, then with some moments, that was one moment. So they tied it all together. That was my, okay, I'm on to something. I'm one of like 10, 15 cats, got a CD in Seven Heaven. People was copping it. The burn CDs was the biggest thing for me though. Folks was
I
burning
got
them.
one in the car.
They was burning
I
them
burnt.
things. Let me tell you a story. When the Immaculate James joint dropped, before it even actually the Immaculate James never officially dropped. It was all burnt copies. And so when I went up to the to pick up one of my some paper, a check that Seven Heaven had for me, that was the spot. A dude walk up on me like, hey, I got that new Mac James. I'm like, fat. He had to hit Mac and he took off running with me. It felt like somebody, one of the movies, what was that, Don't Be a Menace or something stupid. But he had the burnt joints is what everybody was burning. And I think it was a different sound too at that time. It was a different sound, and to tie a full circle, it was like, boom, I got Rich rocking with it, you know what I mean? I ended up linking with Diamond, you know what I'm saying?
So you linked up with him after? I was just in
so
my
I
head.
dropped Premeditated first. So I dropped Premeditated first.
So now you buzzing.
I'm creating some buzz, and that's how Diamond found out about it. And actually with Joker, I was working tightly with Joker because back then my sound was more kind of slow, smooth, mellow.
Yeah.
Joker he was from Memphis. He was
on it.
Going up. And so I realized that was what was making the clubs move, or was making, if you go to the spot, it was hard to play Premeditated, maybe some house parties, you know what I mean? And it's in your trunk. But like in the club and stuff, it's that stuff Joker was making. So me and Joker he produced probably about half, close to half of the Chop It Up Click album. Me and him, I co-produced. I produced a little bit over half, like 10 and 6 or something like that. But he produced a lot of records on there. And then when I connected with him, we did Chop It Up. That took it to the next level. Because if you listen, even me personally, like Premeditated, it's like some people consider it like a cult classic. But if you listen to it, I don't like it like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, but
No, I get it. I get it.
Compared to how Chop It Up, when that dropped, and like and them songs, and then the cast, like that's when Riv and P was really showing out. The so much was like, so that Chop It Up was like that hit. It started creating some buzz, and then that's when I connected with Diamond, because Joker was rocking with Diamond, and and then when I connected with Diamond, it was like to bring it full circle. Now I'm messing with, arguably to me, like Diamond Shields was like the Master P, or like the baby of Kansas City.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the hustle money. He was put into the music. He worked with all the best, all tech stuff. I mean, from the beginning, at the beginning, Soleil, you talking about Lee Joe, he rocked all them. Dilemma, D-Lo, I mean, everybody from the beginning. Diamond had a fingerprint on him, so I'm rocking with Diamond. He was living with Quincy Jones at one point. He's living
I didn't know
Quincy.
that.
They got pictures, man. Like he went living with and his son. QB3.
So did he just love music, and he was just always tapped into it?
Well, I think he was the money man, so he attracted the talent.
That you can have money, but you can just not even give a fuck about music too, though.
Well, no, he loved music. He loved like old school. He loved like.
I guess I'm asking what made him get into, just like get into music.
Again, with KC being a smaller scene, he was the money man. He did love music, and he had dope talent. For me, as I look back on it, he was just like helping his homies out. He wasn't even thinking about business. Like he had some bread. He's like, all right, we're gonna produce this. You know, oh, we got this going. They ended up getting some with Warner Brothers. Like I said, that's how it was, Quincy Jones and QD3, his son. Like they did some really amazing stuff. And so I think out the gate, Diamond was just hustling like he had Mark's Chicken and Waffle out there out south. He had you know, some daycares. It was a spot in the city. We used to go to the dang, I can't think of the name of it, man. It's a club on Prospect. We was young folks was going to it. I'm mad I can't think of the name of it, but the Palace.
Yeah,
The Palace on like 29th and Prospect. Long story short, he was a businessman and he had the bread. He was just doing it. Then once it started cracking and it started, okay, his stuff started taking off because Tech is hyper talented. I think it was, again, to land this plane, how like started with getting that confirmation from Rich, getting some buzz, working with Diamond. Then I got the record with Tech. You know what I'm saying? The Misery joint.
What got to that though?
So I'm Midwest Side on family. Tech Nine was on Midwest Side. So I'm on.
You get with Diamond, right? After you get with Diamond, what's the conversation with you and Diamond?
Diamond was so cool. Like me and Diamond was like, he was putting me on like the hustle, how to get money. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I guess music wise, like what's the next? We got him. He's the hottest thing going right now, right? Man, let me grab him. I link up with him, and then I'm gonna holler at Check to see if Check it. Like, how did that happen?
Well, you talking about how we got on that record together?
Yeah, like how did that just?
That was just organic, bro. So Joker had made the beat. And I mean, when we heard that beat, I was like, cuz that's my beat. That beat was so hard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that's me, fam. You know, we would go back and forth. Yeah. This is back when we had the Tritons out and all that old school stuff. So I had the beat, and Tech just happened to come by the block one day. He came on 54th and Garfield, where we were staying, came by the house. And that day, I went to 7 Heaven, picked up a check. They gave me a check. I had a little $300. It was like, oh, we owe you $300. I'm like, boom, cool. Then let's give me a little bag or something. I'm chilling.
Yeah, back then, 300 is 1,000.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 300 wasn't bad. I mean, for the music.
300 is 1,000 back then.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. So I get my 3, and I pull up on the block, and Tech is there. And I was like, bro, Tech always show love. I was like, man, I was like, I'm trying to do this record. I got this beat for you. And the way the house wasn't fully, like, because Diamond laid the house out. It was a player pad. So at that point, it wasn't laid out yet. So the porch was open, and you could hear the music, like, from the basement where the studio was at. So he turned on the beat. And he's like, all right, I'll get it. He's like, man, usually I charge $1,500, right?
Where's your respect for Tech at this point? He's like
one of the best in the business.
Is he like a?
In KC, that's it. Him and Rich.
Is he a checkpoint for you at this time?
Well, we had crossed paths a couple times, and we had
a bucket list. My father, is he like one of your bucket lists at this time?
Well, at that time, it's like I kind of almost manifested it. Yes, I was like, I'm working with. I'm gonna do something with Tech Nine. Yeah, and we had seen each other a few times. Like
so he's one of the ones you wanted to work with at this time.
Right.
Okay.
And Rich, actually, I haven't done. Well, we were supposed to do one, and some stuff I threw during COVID, but I'm gonna eventually get Rich on the track too. Back then, I was like, that was my time, but I ended up getting Tech through the affiliation with the West Side. So we had rapped a couple times. I pull up on the block. He's there, and I'm like, hey, dog, I got this beat. Joker turns on the beat. And he's like, oh man, that's easy. And he's like, well, usually I charge $1,500, man. You family, we Midwest Side, give me $300. 7 Heaven just gave me $300.
He can bleep this out if this wasn't. If he wasn't, because he did the hook and everything.
Now this is keep in mind, we was on the same label. So we was on the same label. This was 2000. This was 2000. This is 23 years ago.
Act like this is 23 years ago. Yeah. I got.
No, them numbers didn't went up, man.
I'm trying to act like it's,
Them numbers didn't went all the way up. But this was back then, and it was because I was on the label.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, man, he's like, give me 3.
I'm on a label, too. I'm on Strange.
Hey, gave him the 3, and he wrote it on site. He wrote it right there, and we recorded it right there. And what made me legend, though, was when he kicked off the joint. Come on, nigga, Mac J.
Oh, you.
Everybody pull up, say, come on, nigga, Mac J. Everybody who see me will pull up.
That hook is damn near that might be one of the most legendary songs in Kansas City. Like, you got the organic.
No, it was organic, fam.
Check. Right. And when he was chopping, too,
this is 20 years. This is easy 20, 23 years ago.
This
now.
is when he was shot. So you got to know when we played that,
Yeah, boy. I'm
we
talking about.
like misery. But
Yeah, man,
I wish I can go back
that was a moment,
to
fam.
that time. I was thinking about this earlier before I pulled up because KC Mixtapes, Big Baby, was
Song about
asking
Rock
about
Man.
an era, about what era was better. I don't quote me, but he was like, what era was better, like now or no? What was the best era of Kansas City? Me, I was like, oh no, because right now you got a lot of artists that's known, but back then I feel like it was more organic.
Right, it was different.
You couldn't just get a beat off YouTube, put it out, and something might happen with it.
Right.
You really had to, I didn't say you really had to. You didn't really have to rap, but the music was more like meaningful. Damn near, I feel like.
Right. Well, I mean, that is overall. I mean, I just can't see it. That's just overall, though. You know what I mean?
Like that. That's not okay. So you got the tech record. What? Who was the
Yeah.
first person you let hear it?
So we was there on the block, man. We played it, and like Diamond came out. Diamond was like,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
let's go. You know what
So
I
y'all
mean?
wrote this the same day.
Same day, on site,
So you got 300. Y'all record this the same day you got the
on
300.
54th and Garfield.
Shout out to Seven Heaven and shout out to 54th and Garfield.
Right, on the block, on G Field, and yeah, bro, it was just a moment, dog. It just happened organically, and that was one of the ones that tied it full circle, where it's like, oh, you got a record with Tech, and then like the buzz was going. I'm with Diamond, now it's like I got a record with Tech. People was really respecting, you know what I mean, what we did and my art. Like that's what I like the most. Like I like making good music, and
Yeah.
it was, you know what I mean, it was that. So
Who was the first person you played it for that wasn't there?
Riv and P. It's like, you know what I mean? We was clowning. I'm talking about when we was clowning. I'm talking about, hey, I love my brothers too, man. My brothers forever, man. But we was clowning back then, like. But yeah, so that's why I played it for first was Riv and P.
Man, I wish I could. Like people don't understand Rev and P. Like I feel like that was their prime years then.
Riv and P, they
Like it ain't. It's
yeah,
not
it was
this.
yeah.
I was trying to compare groups. Not even here, but even
It was like a KC
if
wall, bro.
yes, like
I
if
mean,
we
as
even
far as like
had to.
as deep as the talent was, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
bro.
man,
I
boys,
was like
man.
thinking of Griselda. I wasn't thinking Griselda because during football season I don't fuck with Griselda
Okay.
at all. They with Buffalo and all that.
Right.
I
Okay.
don't. I
Okay.
don't listen to Griselda
Straight up.
during football season at all. But like the locks. So I was thinking like, bro, if you took Chop It Up with all them niggas, like who could really? Riv was he's been doing that at the gate,
Real was he's still one of the best
and then
lyricists.
P Sound.
Yeah.
P got the one of the best songs with Boy Big.
Yeah, chop it up, talking about
That,
gangster. Yeah, that was one I still smack that to this day. You know what I mean, that's
and
yeah.
I was mad you went on it, but it's a couple songs you was up
Right.
motion.
Yeah,
I
motion.
mean,
Yeah, the
you
motion
went
was
on that
off.
either.
Yeah, right.
So it's a couple songs. I'm like, God, why you wasn't on? How did you feel when you heard that and you went on it, low key?
A lot of them, man, I was with it, bro. Like, I'm that kind of guy, man. I'm like, it's whatever, man. Like, I really wasn't tripping like that. And they was bringing me songs. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
man,
yeah.
let's do it. Like, because that's what I liked about River P. They were so creative. Like, you know what I'm saying? They was really some goons, but they was like really creative goons. You know what I mean? Like, they could whip up some stuff, really like in depth. You know what I mean? Like these dudes is like, just psychologically and mentally on. They really was deep like that, and I don't know, it's
Ain't they
crazy. So
some
yeah.
real cats, bro? I'm gonna go back. So P, I met him through like some battle rap shit.
Oh, okay.
I'm standing behind him while he was because I got respect for Chop It Up and what he did. He started his battle rap career, so I'm standing behind him, and I'm just in my head like, bro, it's amazing. Like this is a talent to be able to
Right, right,
remember this shit.
right. And the
And
way he
he's top,
deliver it,
yeah, like,
yeah,
and he's
his
top.
delivery, right.
His sound is his sound, and he's anyway.
Yeah,
But then even with Riv, bro, like he was one of the like with putting
right,
words together and making a sound, and then the delivery of it
right.
was
Now
cold,
the team was strong, boy.
cold.
The
And
team
he
was
what
strong, man.
gave me my respect for Riv though, I seen him at the store one day. Like, what's up, boy? He's like, hey man, just pray for me. I just
Right.
robbed a nigga. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm
yeah.
like, just to know like that wasn't right, but at the same time pray for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like nigga really going through. You know what I mean? Really going through it. So
That sound like real too.
that's why I'm saying that shit. You can't make this shit
Yeah.
up. So when motherfuckers ask about the era of rap, niggas, they just wasn't rapping just to rap. This is like, it was real life. So
Yeah, we had some boy. It was back then. Like I say, KC, I think still has some really dope talent. I think overall, KC always has had talent,
yeah,
serious talent. Like there's boys now that can go. You know what I mean? I'm tapped in. I'm not one of them guys. Like a lot of times, the OGs fade that. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like I'm telling you right now, some young guys that can go. But that era though, it was definitely was. And we need to talk about Fat Tone. I really haven't got to tell much of them story. I got a record with Fat Tone actually on the Immaculate James joint.
yeah,
And some of my interactions with Tone, because he was over there on 5-1, we was on 5-4,
yeah.
and at that time we was just it was a wild time, man.
So how did that happen? How did you end up getting that?
Again, boy, through Joker. So Joker, he been the glue for a lot of that for me. Keep it 100 with you, like he said, him and Joe, he produces. I'm a vet, you know what I mean? He produced
Yeah,
that joint. Joker did, and so he was coming through the block, and so a couple of times he came through. I was producing. Folks really mess with my production. Like back then,
yeah,
like I was producing some slaps, dog. So I gave Tone some slaps, and he's like, "We're gonna swap out." You know what I mean, for a verse. And it was funny how it actually went down. So we swapped out for the verse, right? And he put the verse on, so he hit me back later. Was like, "Man, no, man, I gotta get paid for that." I'm like, "Okay, you know what I mean?" Verse, he's like, "No, man, you know what I mean? Take my verse off then." Of course, just recording on ADATs. Of course, I didn't take the verse. I was like, "All right, man, whatever." So I still, kept the joint on there.
yeah.
And we swapped out, man. Try to, do a Fat Tone move, try to tax me later, fam. I was like, hey, it's all love, family.
So how'd you feel? Was that your first like negative thing in music?
No, but the thing is, that's how Tone was. Like, me and Tone actually, we spent a whole bunch of time out at Woo Woo's out in
Yeah,
Olathe. he was on a block. Me and Tone used to go out to Olathe. And, you know what I mean? And J Rock, God bless both of their
yeah,
souls. When he was alive, they was out there doing some clown stuff out on Olathe. So we had a few trips, and I seen he was pulling out other cats. Like, matter of fact, one time we took him out there, and he had some dudes. And keep in mind, this is in 2000. He had
yeah,
cats paying like 1,500 a verse.
yeah,
I mean, I think he only had like, I don't think I'm a bet he even had dropped yet. He was, I think that was just about to drop. I think either just about to drop or just had dropped. He was charging 1,500 a verse, and bullying these cats, and they was coming up with the bread. So we was making the moves out there. So I had some different interactions with him. I seen how Tone was. Well, no, man, it was
yeah.
cool.
So
We
it wasn't
never,
nothing personal.
yeah,
Like that.
we
You
was
just
cool. We
knew.
never chose. Like we did the swap. He laid the verse down, and he probably is gonna pinch at some point. Come, hey man, you know what I'm saying? I need some money for that verse. Like, man, we already
So we
swapped that.
swapped. Like that's out.
Yeah.
How'd you? We ain't gonna get into that. But what was your first negative interaction with music? So were you like, I'm cool on this shit?
I never, nothing ever to where had me. I was cool on it. I mean,
Yeah.
I was always. I still now do music. I love it. So nothing ever made me like want to
Or like
quit
a
it or give it
fallback?
up. Well, I think the first thing, well, the first kind of hiccup, and this is another interesting story. Excuse me, that I haven't really spoke about was the Skrilla Getter. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Confrontation. And so how that happened, because we had I don't even call it no real beef. Let's just be clear. I love the Skrilla Getters. I rock with all of them. Like they family. And so, but back then it was a little bit of tension. And what happened was on the Chop It Up album, Popper had the verse on the show. Me Midwest.
Who was the dude on the hook?
That's a barber. Cause his name is Marco. A dude I went to high school with. I think he's still cutting hair.
Fire. He
He's
needs
still
to
cutting hair
still
out.
sing.
And so he was on that jam, and Popper was like, "Hey fam, you gotta get Young Z. How you want to come up and stuff?" And I had been hearing about the Skrilla Getters, and because Riv and P, they had some, some family ties and shit. So it was like, bet let's get Z on the record. So we get them out there, and also some more history to get Popper on the record. I seen him out. Popper was like, "Man, give me a Gates plate and a fifth of Hennessy." So got him that. He came out to the studio again out at Woo Woo's. Woo Woo used to be a fixture out here, and then this is way back. And he basically came out, and then Young Z came out. But when Young Z came, he brought the whole crew, and they brought their keyboards and stuff. Like they would really
Yeah.
like take over the session type deal. And I was like, well, look, family, like if we got some time at the end, like boom, it's whatever, you know what I mean? But right now, I'm focused on, I got some records right here that they're recording and chop it up. I gotta get these out the way first. And they kind of felt away about that, like, man, like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, ain't no big deal. So Z ended up still putting his verse down, and the verse was dope. Bet. So, but they were still a little disgruntled because the studio time, I had my purpose for that. Like, I'm coming to record. I invite you out to record, but he brought the whole team, and I don't know if he just in miscommunication. He thought they would all
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
lab. I'm
yeah, yeah.
like, no, got some stuff going. So after that, I was hearing some little, you know, people was coming back to me, like, and the rear came back, and people was hitting me, like, oh man, like, they like talking some, you know, I'm like, for what? Like, it's like, and so I ended up, after we all rapped, I took Z's verse off of Show Me. His verse was on there, on that joint. So I took the verse off, and then that's what caused a little bit of friction afterwards. So it was like we had some little bump ins, run ins, and you know, back then I think it was even actually DJ Fresh, the legend. He put me and Young Z on a like a diss record against each other on the back of one of his mixtapes, bro. Back then, that's where Ask for Fresh to validate that for you. So it was kind of that. It was on that type of level, and we ended up really being nothing to squash, and it's all love. But that's how kind of it happened. But it really was never no beef because even Bone, God rest his soul, me and Bone, he was being the 50s. Like, he came on Garth all the time. Me and Bone was rocking tough. So it's still love for the whole, you know what I mean, the Skrilla did his thing. It was just a little, that was probably the first, like, kind of like almost rap beef, you know, for us in KC.
Was it one of those things where you kind of up there now, so now these beefs just kind of come, or
I'm not sure what it was, man. Sometimes, you know, in that rap stuff, it just be a lot of egos, a
yeah,
lot of,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
different stuff like that. And so the difference was, though, because of him and Young Z and Rib actually they fought. They had a fight. You know what I'm saying? Rib, you know what I'm saying? He caught him and handled him, and I just heard, so I didn't see it, I witnessed, but I heard, you know what I mean, Rib, you know, got with him. And so,
Over.
over this whole stuff.
Come
They
on.
scrapped one time. Actually,
Shout out to Rev.
I said that on the DJ Fresh track. I said, "Isn't it true? Only rib left you with some bruised ribs or something like that on the joint." So they had actually scrapped, and the thing is like, I was cool. To me, it was just music, but them they was really like, man, it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
is it like that? Like, so, but it ended up all being cool, man. We ended up squashing it. It wasn't never really nothing for real. And now it's all
So how did one of your biggest rap shits become something?
well, another story a lot of people didn't know about is we actually had a deal with Sony. So Midwest Side
Okay.
Records, me and Joker, as artists, had a deal with Sony. And so,
What I'm saying, his biggest beef in rap.
oh, you said the biggest beef.
Your biggest beef in rap.
Okay. I thought you said the biggest piece. Okay,
You
no.
cool.
Yeah,
Like, how
right,
did your biggest beef
right.
become that?
Was
All I
right,
heard was rumblings. I don't really know
right. Yeah,
was
it
what.
ended up getting a little funky. So basically, like you said, after the Skrilla, this was years after.
This
But
ain't no sloppy
nothing. Yeah, so
shit, but it's just questions I've been wanting to know for like
for
20
sure.
plus.
No, so Diamond. So go back to our story about Tech Nine being on Midwest Side
Yeah.
Records, and so at that time, Tech was linking with Travis. Travis was really ready to invest in him and expand what they were doing. Travis has actually even come on the block a few times. I remember he had an excursion. He came over and he rapped with us. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna get into the details, but all I know is that Tech thought it was his best interest for him to move forward with Travis, which you see what they're doing today.
Yeah.
So again, not knocking them. At the time, I was in the middle of it though, and so basically, I'm riding with Diamond.
Yeah,
And so I was like
gotcha.
19 at the time.
Gotcha,
I'm
gotcha,
I'm 19, and Diamond, he was upset about how it went down, which hindsight 2020 probably shouldn't have been as upset as he was, and they ended up squashing and being cool too.
Yeah.
But that's how it kind of kicked off. And me and Joker had already had this song, You Soft. And Diamond was like, so at this point, this is when Diamond started rapping too. So keep in mind, Diamond was never rapping.
Yeah.
He was always in the background. You wouldn't even know who Diamond, is. Diamond plays the background. He the money man. At this point now, it did become like Baby, where he rapping. I'm saying, so he's rapping, and so he like, all right, this the song like You Saw we doing this about about Tech, and then was like, me and Joker love Tech. Like, man, what you like? Oh no, we recorded, And me and Joker at that time, again, we had a deal on the table with Sony, which that's another story that fell through. And we rocking with Diamond. We living in Diamond's house.
So y'all both looking at each other like,
we
fuck it.
riding with Diamond. You know what I mean? Period. That was it. And we knew it wasn't really like we were gonna be nothing.
Yeah.
In fact, so that happened, and then around that same time, one of our biggest records, Crazy, was on 103. So Crazy was spinning heavy on 103, and Diamond was breaking bread. You know what I mean? To make sure we had rotation, because at that time it really wasn't no like local
Going
rap
crazy.
artists playing on 103. So he broke some bread with Martin D and them, and they knew what because Diamond had mad connections from the West Coast to the East Coast. Quincy, Sway in the morning, all them cats. And so like that, we rocking with them. So our record's playing, Crazy, me and Joker, and it's going crazy. It's getting big numbers. We started doing some regional tours and stuff like that. At that time, we had the rap. Keep in mind, this time also in KC, we was one of the first to like. We had the rap trucks. You know, Diamond had us all
Wrapped
over
up, the
chains and
faces.
grills. Yeah, we had like we had three rap vehicles.
This is before you 21?
Yeah, I'm 19 at that time. So we had three rap vehicles. We all had the chains and the grills, you know, the typical rap starter kit, you feel me? But we in KC with it. That really wasn't happening. So it was like, we had the billboard. We lived on 54th and Garfield, which is right close to, Highway and Prospect right there. On 55th, there was that big billboard. Diamond copped the billboard, you know what I mean? So the billboard, the rap vehicles, the chains, at the time we was doing it, like, wasn't nobody really, you know what I'm saying, in Kansas City.
Who was the top five? Not saying that they the best, but
Right.
who was the five
At that
artists?
time?
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely, like I said, Rich and Tech, that off the gate. Tone was on fire at that time. Tone was still alive. And then you had to have us at that point. At that
Okay.
time, it was some other cats doing. I really rocked with Lejo. Lejo stuff was dope. Big Court had already made his move out. You know what I mean? He was doing stuff with P. So Court been doing like, his stuff like underrated. Like some of the he's a legend, fam. Like to be working with P at the age he was working with. So Court had been doing it, but he was making noise really on a bigger level. You know what I
I
mean?
remember that I was working at McDonald's. This was in my freshman year, '99, and he pulled up, got something to eat, threw a CD in, and it's the one he had
The CCG joint.
Bone cats
Okay,
on there.
yeah.
So even just back then, he was skinny, long ass
Right.
braids. But yeah, I'm
But
like,
was having money back then, was putting out records, and even his story about how he connected with P, because I look at him as like one of my mentors.
Yeah.
He's been really open to share with me, you know what I mean? Like a solid dude. And so I'm like, man, he told me how he connected with P. Just hustle was Kansas City, we love the town, but sometimes we can't see past the town.
Yep.
His vision, you know what I mean?
Was always
I
past.
always give the flowers up when they do. Like Court, he been doing his thing, man.
I sidetracked to this whole convo. My
Yeah,
bad.
that's all good.
So we got with the anyway. We'll get past
Right.
all that. So you get past the beef.
Right.
So at the highest of that, what happened through that?
Yeah, you're right. We did get a little sidetracked. So one of the points I was gonna make is Crazy is on the radio. And that's why I turned it back in. I don't know how I got off track with that. But
That was me, my bad.
right.
It's always me.
No, that's all good. Crazy was on the radio at that point. We started to pick up some real buzz and some traction. Hot 103 is doing a movie premiere for Tupac Resurrection at War Parkway. So Diamond gets the news that Tech N9ne is there. Keep in mind, we all on the block. We all on G Field. We like, yeah, he up there now. I'm finna go get him. And we all like, it's me, we the young bloods, right? So you talking about me and Joker, we the youngsters. Then you got Gnu. Gnu was one of the OGs and a couple other of his OG partners over there. And they're like, bro, don't do that. You're gonna go to jail, fam. You go up there and because he's going, I'm gonna go fight him, I'm gonna punch him. Like, bro, you going to jail, family. And so fast forward, he dipped off, went to War Parkway, and like sucker punched Tech N9ne in the theater. So he ended up getting hemmed up quick. But I don't know if you remember Big Nick. That was one of Tech's bodyguards. God rest his soul. Big Nick wrapped him up. He gets hemmed up and ends up going to jail. On top of that, 103 was hosting the event. So what you think next? They pulled the record. You know what I mean? Like, man.
Oh, you done. You out of here.
You pulled the record. It was a lose-lose, family. So it was a little beat, but it really was more. I don't know what it was. It was something personal between Diamond and Tech, and we were just kind of along for the ride. Of course, again, we was riding with Diamond. We still had. I remember, matter of fact, around that time, Murder Dog, back when they were a thing, they did this Kansas City article, like a whole magazine, you know what I'm saying, about KC, and had the KC rapper. We was on there. They did a highlight on us, and they gave us a whole page advertisement. We put Chop Suey in there. And we was one of the first. Now I will give you this, and this will kind of tie into the story. Also, what I'm doing now on the tech side, I was always thinking about tech and technical, like as far as like websites, computers, stuff that on the early phases we was early to it, and to where it's at now. I'm even involved with it now, on the coding perspective. But back then we had a website, and on our website, that's where we dropped the video "You Soft." And it ended up getting probably about, and this is before YouTube really cracked off. This is like 02, 03. I mean, so YouTube is starting, to do its thing, but this is even before that. It was hosted privately on our site. Probably got about 30,000 views. Now keep in mind, this is in 2002
back then.
on our own website. And so that's how people were seeing the You Solve video, because it was linked to the ad, and and it was all branded on the Chop Suey album. It was like, go to the website, 816chopsuey.com. And so that's when Tech and them seen it. And I remember there was a First Fridays at the Uptown, and this chick, Tech used to mess with back then. She pulled up on me and she was like, it was a white girl. She was like, "How could you turn your back on Tech like that, Mac?" I was like, "What? What you talking about?" She's like, "We see the video." I was like, at that time I'm 19, 20.
Yeah.
I'm lit. I'm talking about lit on every level. Like, we stayed faded. Like, I was just, man, like, and we was, even though I wasn't even that kind, everybody was holding. You know what I mean? Back then, we like, man, it ain't nothing. Like, I got P and Riv who were shooters. Like, I had guys who were, even though that was not even me. I'm just gonna keep.
No, I got
you.
you.
Know what I'm saying?
You the Lil Wayne.
No.
Not saying it like that, but it's like, I'm the rapper. Everybody, who you talking to? Like, but I get it.
Yeah, so it was just like we was all. It was a Goonie era. I just thank God every day. I truly do, man, because we made it out of some really dark spaces, bro.
So what got you out of it?
My son, and so towards the end, so also my son, and before that, a few events had happened. So I mentioned we had a deal on the table with Sony, and so at that time, I believe her name was Kelly. It was Don Juan's one of his assistants, and she ended up being an intern out at Sony, right, in New York City. And at that time, his name was Dave McPherson. Dave McPherson had signed B2K, signed some other acts. He had this big bag. He was signing artists, and so she had got an intro for us basically to come out. So keep in mind, this whole time we've been rocking just on the love. All of a sudden, Diamond, like, it was on some Suge time, fam. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was on some Debo. It was some Suge. Like, we in the crib cooking up, making beats. He's left some contracts on the table. Like, me and Joker, like, what's up? I gotta sign these. Me and Joker, like, I'm looking at Joke. I'm like, can I read it first? And if you know Diamond's like, what you mean? What you mean read it? So it was like,
you disrespecting them,
like, yeah, you in my house, you wearing my chain, like, so 19, like, this dude is like a Kansas City drug kingpin, I don't know what kind of dirty them put in, so I'm like, I'm rocking with him, and I'm like, all right, yeah, well, so the whole time we haven't been doing nothing on paper.
So you wrote this motherfucker with the opposite hand.
Now we on paper. Now we on paper, and so the reason was because they had this stuff lined up with Sony, so we get flew out to Sony. I'm in New York City, Times Square, highest. I'm talking about I ain't never danced this hard in my life, cuz I'm talking about I'm the lowest. I'm 6'3". I'm down to about 4 foot. We getting it in. And at that time, for real, real talk, man, we from KC. I'm like 19, 20.
It's not even a song I can think of that could just.
It was off the Boss Hall's joint. It might have been crazy. Might be that the joint that was on the radio.
Oh, it was y'all music.
Yeah, it was our music.
Oh, okay.
No, it's ours.
I'm just thinking y'all out and you just getting to it.
No, so we go into the Sony studio offices, Times Square. They flew us out. I'm 20 years old at the time. We get to the airport. They got a sign on Midwest Siders. Got a real tall limousine. Like, it was like some movie stuff. We go to our hotel. Next day, we in Times Square, at the Sony with Dave McPherson playing our music, wearing our Midwest Side gear, getting low as we could possibly get, right? And at that time, this is around the time also that Nelly and the Lunatics was out. So he was like, okay, Nelly and the Lunatics, they kind of got this Midwest swag. This is St. Louis, this is Kansas City. So we did about 5 songs. I'm talking about the hardest I've ever moved. And at that time, Diamond, he's still some on the Suge, you know, God rest his soul. We ended up being
So
cool
you
with
still
it.
sore?
Yeah, I'm right now. You see, man, still back hurting. Hey, so basically, when it's time to start talking business, he told me and Joker, he's like, yeah, y'all go to the front. And so he was with the OG Gnu. So that was his cousin. Everything was in his name because he was the legitimate name he was using because Diamond was hustling. And so, boom, he pushes out the room. The lady at the front was like, if he listened to more than 2 of your songs, you're in. He don't listen to more than 2. So me and Joker like, hey, we on, fam. We again 1920 from KC, about to get this deal with Sony. It's on. And so fast forward about 6 months goes by. We don't hear nothing. We're like, hit Diamond like, hey, what's, you know what I mean? Like keep making records, cuz. Just keep making records. Hit records. And that was it. Like, you know, he was on his Debo game. And so fast forward, years later, after I walked away from Midwest Side, I'm gonna bring it back to that point and how I got out. But after I was gone from that, years later, me and Gnu, we stayed close because Gnu, one of the things we shared, we both was like brothers in Christ. Even when we was clowns, we was still like calling on the name of the Lord. Like in the dark, they'd be real goons, but just believing in Christ. And so that kept us connected. And we rap later, it's like, man, did you ever work on what happened with that? I said, yeah, what you mean? We wanted to know what happened with the deal. Like, we a Joker, we was, bruh, you couldn't tell us nothing. And he was like, well, Diamond ended up turning it down. They wanted artist deals for me and Joker, but they didn't want to give him a label deal. So he turned it down. And the thing was, it's like, bro, you already had us signed in the contract anyway. You know what I'm saying? So what difference do it make, cuz? So went back from New York City to back in the streets of Kansas City on Garfield, in his trap, cooking up music. So fast forward, we had a couple other things go down, and the music was cool, but Diamond's primary thing was his hustle. And some of that started getting messed up because some of his guys started going to jail. Some of his stuff started drying up. So, you know, when you go from counting over $1 million in cash and dope money to down to 100,000, wow, you know what I mean? As I'm watching them, how they moved, as you started, he panicking, family. So it was some stuff, and we ended up, like, it got a little bit heated between us. I was like, bro, we got, you know what I mean? It was cool, like, I'm out. And ended up leaving the block. And around that time, so to bring the full story back, around that time, I had my first son, Justice. And I got his name out of the Bible. Justice is Acts, verse 1, chapter 23. So Acts 1, 2, 3. And I just happened to find it. And so Justice, when I had him, I was like, man, I got to do something different. You know what I mean? I'm done. This rap is like cool, but KC was, even now, it's really dangerous. Like if you rapping, it's really dangerous. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we was fortunate to live through that. Even now, it's still happening. Excuse me. So I had my son, and I was like, I'm gonna focus on him. And then by the time he was about 3, I was still rapping. I was still had my hands in it a little bit. I bought me a Benz. I was starting to get back on my feet. The city was like, cause when I was Mac back then, I had like a little IROC Z turquoise joint with the T-tops. You know, some Mac, and I was whipping through the streets. Fell off, got back on, had caught me a Benz. I had the red Benz, big body, cool. I was like, oh, he played for the Chiefs? No. Played for the Kansas City Streets. You feel me? So I was still looking good. I was looking like that. And then basically I was still in a rap, but then I picked my son up. We was in the Benz, and you know what I mean? And I'm rolling, and he in the back seat repeating my music. And so, like, word for word, like, I get to see it on his face. Like, he excited. Like, it's my daddy. Like, at 4, you know what I mean? Like, I remember how I looked up to my pops in music, and how a lot of my pops' music was provocative, and you know what I mean? And also, God bless my pops, no judgment. Like, the relationship was strained, you know what I mean? So I wanted to make sure that my relationship with him did not strain. I wanted to be close to him as possible. So when I seen him repeat my music, I quit rapping.
Was it the one about the meat?
Huh?
On Chop Suey, y'all got a song called
No, ain't that one.
Okay, all right.
It ain't that one. It was
Have you ever went back to that and listened to that? Like,
I listened, it's ridiculous.
It's
man.
crazy.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I want to being that you brought up Pops because I feel like he was your you got most of that from him, and it wasn't always on the negative side of it. How
Right.
did that switch?
Right. Well, again, my pop introduced me to music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was that, and ever since I can remember, that's who I looked up to. When I was a kid, I wanted to be like my pops.
Yeah.
I wanted to do what he was doing. I wanted to be around him. And we had some great experiences, but then we also had some not so great experiences, right? So as a
Getting
mature
older,
man,
or like
some
it
in the
was
youth,
still
well,
going
yeah, he
on
kind
then.
of distanced because he was still like he was around, but he was still on his Playboy stuff. You know
Gotcha.
what I mean? So it's a boy, which I don't knock, and I look back and I understand the game, so ain't no judgment. But we just wasn't as close, and but he did introduce me to the music, and it was some other stuff that happened that I'm not gonna get in detail about.
Yeah.
That just was like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, we gotta rap about this. You know? Like so even when I dropped it, I talked to him actually as grown men. Wait, let's talk maybe a few years ago, man. Well, we talked several years ago, but we talked again about it some
Hmm.
years ago. When I came, I was like, man, listen, 'cause my son's 18, right? At this age, my son is right now. I was recording premeditated. And so I'm like, I told him, I said, listen, if he walked into my studio and wanted to record premeditated, man, I'm smacking him like, bruh, you know,
Yeah.
get back on, you know what I'm saying, into something like playing some sports or getting to, if you do want to make some music, we're going to make it about this, something that's talking about something. So, and we kind of had that talking about the accountability and different stuff. But just as men, we grew apart. We still close. We still, it's always love. But some people, the relationships are going to be tough. You know what I mean? So it's
What
all
year?
love.
What year did you get saved?
I would probably say when I was probably around that time, I was about 26, 27. The thing is, like, I always believed in God. I just wasn't living a life that reflected it. So let me say, I always knew He was real, but I wasn't living like I believed. You know what I'm saying? So I always knew I officially, I want to say, got baptized and like
Yeah.
really was like, in the Word.
It was outside.
Right,
Well after.
right. This is like 26, 27. So yeah, I was 20. I was about 26, 27, right before I got married. It was young. It was pretty young for me, man, because it was a quick flip. Because everybody was looking at me like, man, like my guy, like, bro, what you mean you done rapping? Like, we was picking up steam. I had dropped the royalty joint. I was doing a lot of stuff out in Atlanta already. Like I was doing stuff in the A. Had a few records I was going there, and it's just like, bro, nah, man, I'm out of there.
So how hard was? Look, because even right now, I'm on a campaign where I'm not rapping after 40,
But yeah,
and,
I wouldn't even
and
put an age on it, fam.
this is just me.
Right,
I've been through it. I know what it can get you in. I know it gave me a lot of shit, but at the same time, it gave me more heartbreak than anything.
right.
Spend hella money,
Money. It's a money
lost
pit.
hella
It's a
friends,
money pit.
hella. You know what I mean? It's
Right,
just my. I feel like my life was ran 75% music,
right,
25% life,
right,
and I blocked myself from a lot of things that I not did. Granted, my life is okay,
right, right.
but if I wasn't doing music, I feel like I could do something else, right? I feel like you're one of those percenters where once you left music, you bubbled. The popper. I ain't gonna say he just completely left music, but when he stopped it, he did the clothes.
Right, right,
He did
right,
whatever. Core dog.
right,
Left music.
right,
Did what my homie Bam. Left music. Became doing it's like so it's like, man, when I leave music, what do I
right,
got for me?
right. But I think the
That's
music
out
still
here.
goes with you though, family. The
It
music.
goes,
Yeah,
but not 75. The percentage is about
yeah,
this way.
right. I think
You
it's just a
know,
learning
so
process. It's a maturity thing. You know what I mean? It's just you have to go through a lot of stuff to learn it, and really, it was all a valuable lesson to where you at right now
yeah.
to, dictate like what's next for you, like which path you gonna choose next. And so that's why even what I'm doing, like that's why I love the culture overall so much, and that's why I'm choosing to do what I
Pause.
do.
Sorry. So what are you doing?
Yeah, so I'm doing.
And for those who don't know, I didn't give you a proper introduction. Can you tell the people who you are?
Absolutely.
An hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, right. It's all good.
Yeah.
Roy Scott, formerly known as Mac James,
Okay.
especially in Kansas City, I'm forever Mac. But I'm founder of Healthy Hip Hop. So
Okay.
Healthy Hip Hop, big picture, is an urban Disney, so iconic children's brand. And I also tie that in with history because Walt Disney's originally from Kansas City. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did.
Okay, so he's originally from KC, moved from KC to LA. So I moved from KC, doing work now in the A, to repeat history and become the Urban Disney. So we have a lot of our own IP, our own programming when it comes to like children's animation, music. We've built our own technology out. And then we also have partners in the space who are creating their own IP that we work together with to create this community. And so we're doing healthy hip hop now. And that kind of goes hand in hand with what we're talking about is like the choices I'm making. Like we can, I'm using the gift of hip hop music like with my kids. What's something I can share with my kids? What's something I can share with my family? And that was the turning point when hearing my son repeat my music. Like, man, I don't want to. That's not a culture
Yeah.
I want to share with him. I don't want to share something that's about violence and drugs and downgrading our women. They said that's not the culture I want to share. I was aware of that. So once I became aware, then I was like, now I got to do something different. I got to change it, change the behavior, and that's for me personally. So that's why I understand and there's no judgment because I look at cats now like you can be 40 and rap, but what are we rapping about? And I'm
Yeah.
not judging what nobody's rapping about. I'm just saying for me personally, the choice was I'm not rapping about this no more. I want to rap about a lifestyle of like entrepreneurship, of building my family, of breaking generational curses, of seeking and serving God, but doing it in a way where I ain't got to talk about it. You watching me, and you're like, okay, it's something you can see the fruit. That the man is producing, and so that's where my head been at. Let me produce some fruit. Let me keep my head down. I have no judgment on anybody. Matter of fact, it's big love, and that's why even with this, when you hit me, I'm like, man, of course I'm coming down and
For
rocking with
sure.
you. There's big love. And this is what it's about. So what are we gonna rap about? So I would say you can keep whatever goals you want, obviously, but at 40, because you're a gifted rapper, like it ain't about not rapping. Like what you rapping about,
Yeah.
and what you rapping for. Like, because if you love it and you want to put out stuff that people can appreciate, then do that. But you know what I mean? So
It's just one of them things. Like, say I get married. I am married, and I go to the strip club every week.
right,
I know what I'm getting myself into if I'm
right.
doing it.
But I'm just saying,
So I
why you
feel
going to
like
strip club?
rap.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying. So because
That's why I'm
shit,
going to the schools now. I'm
it
going to the
might be.
parents now.
You
You
know
feel
what I
me?
mean? So it's just one of those things with it. Even like people probably really don't even notice. I don't even cuss in
Right.
the music
And
no more.
I just tagged your joint on Kirk Franklin. You know what I mean? On that
Yeah,
MP, that was
yeah,
dope. Like,
yeah.
yeah, you
So
got some nice work, man.
so just certain stuff is just I gotta get away from it.
Right.
Gotta get
Straight
away
up.
from it. So that's what age range are you trying to reach with the healthy hip hop? And what
Really,
do you
yeah.
and what's the future for
It's
it
it's
as well?
range it's reaching all ages because the music is so still relevant. So that's what kind of our value proposition, meaning like that's what helped us stand apart from the competition out the gate was when you think about kids music, it's a little bit watered down, it's corny. When you heard our wheels on the bus, you like when it first came out, like boom, boom, boom. And they're like, what's this? Whole car was bumping. Like, man, wheels on the bus because it was slap. So it was like our value proposition was this is hip hop for kids and families, but it's still dope. So parents started liking it, teachers started liking it, and so the big picture for us, like I said, 10 years from now, is to become an iconic children's brand. So that's why again, New Age Sesame Street, Urban Disney, creating technology, we also have programming. So we have our own tech platform, we have our own educational programming that's teaching kids literacy through rap. So we have the entertainment, but we also have real education built and developed by like our educational advisory board. Like everything's official and doing things like the right way. So that's the next steps for us. And so to answer your question, it's for all ranges, but we're really focused on that 0 to 12 because that's when that moral foundation is being built with kids. How can we reach them with something that's dope and relevant, but it's still cool?
Yeah.
And then it crosses over to the high school kids and the parents, and because we're creating like this champion program where we're having like a big brother, big sister model where they mentor the younger kids through the healthy hip hop music. So it's really a whole movement, that I've been working on for a while, but really figuring out now like how to scale it, like getting the business foundational stuff together, knowing how to raise capital, knowing how the business is going to make capital, knowing what circles I got to be in, going through various programs, etc. So it's like Nipsey to the marathon. It's like a real life marathon, man. So I'm really like in it. I'm if you talk about my time in this since premeditated, I've been in this whole thing over 20 years, man. Cause I'm on 25 years of like putting out music, and now I'm doing it in a way that I want to build a legacy for my family and do something good for all people. You know what I'm saying?
Where can I help and be a part of it? Or what can anybody do to help
Well, I would say
and be
right
a
now I'm
part of it?
starting this campaign, man. Download the app. So the
Okay.
Healthy Hip Hop app is live. We're adding all new music to it. Download the app. You know what I mean? Because right now we got about a little bit over 12,000 downloads and users. Want to get that thing to 100,000 because that's how we also show that we're more valuable.
What's the app?
Just healthy hip hop, 3 words, healthy hip hop.
Healthy hip
Yep.
hop.
Share it with a teacher. Share it with a parent. You know, we got the. If you don't download the app, we also have YouTube. We have a platform that can be used in the classroom. So, various ways you can rock with us. And if you want to contribute, you know, we got to do. Probably, you know what I'm saying? Get Nick on a healthy hip hop
For
joint or
sure.
something. You know what I mean?
Is it a way you can? You probably already did this. Can healthy hip hop help at all in schools, like in
Absolutely.
music classes?
Right. Big
Can like a
time.
music teacher?
Big time. We have it for music teachers. We also have a program for like physical education that ties in
I
social
thought about
emotional
that.
learning. So like getting kids active, man. All of that. So like, we at a point now to where we've been really building out the product, getting the team strong, getting the content strong. And we're at a spot now where we're getting key people like really behind us. And then we're gonna take this thing to the next level, man, and really be that iconic children's brand. I'm like, man, yeah, that was Mac, family.
I got one thing I will say I'm pissed about.
What's up?
It's not a really big deal. You put out the slide, right?
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Summertime slide.
Summertime slide, right? Like right when you put it out, a day after that, summer was over.
Well, summer actually don't end until September 23rd.
But you put it out in September the
Right.
1st.
What the thing was is
Like what was the?
so a couple of things. One is, um,
And it's fire.
I just cooked it up on site. I just cooked it up. I was like, I want to put this shit out.
All right.
Like you know what I mean? I just whipped it up with my kids. Again, with my kids, we dancing, we summertime sliding. That's why I did a little video with my daughter. You know what I mean? And it just cooked up, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna put it out. Cause again, and you're right. So here's my thought behind it is, September 23rd, summer's over, but this gives us a little time to kind of prep for this next summer. So we'll, you know what I mean, build the momentum.
Or just change. You can edit it and put fall time slide,
No, summer.
winter time slide.
You
You just
every
change.
season. Hey, we do 4 joints, cuz. One for every season, man. Come on, I'm coming back to the lab tomorrow.
If he don't, I am. I'm gonna break in that motherfucker.
coming to
I can change it myself. I got the song. So yeah, but no, that
And
is
let me tell you what, I got so much music, bro. I'm talking about. I've been sitting on it.
pause.
But now I'm understanding the game, like creating content, how you got to position yourself. Now the game is different, bro. So it's changed
Yes.
quite a bit. So, I won't be too much more long-winded about this, but like, for example, my introduction to entrepreneurship was the CDs. So my dudes like Dom, they was hustling dope. That really wasn't never my thing. I mean, my thing was hustling the CDs. You may have seen me at a Bannister Mall, or you may have seen me at a gas station. I mean, like car wash. I was in motion, and so that was my introduction to entrepreneurship. I copped 1,000 CDs. Right.
My bad.
Copped
Just popped in
1,000
my head.
CDs, $1,000. I'm gonna sell them on average for $7 a joint. Get my $7 grand, re-up. So that was my hustle. And I was out. You could ask anybody from that area in the town, like, you seen me at Bannister Mall. I'm mad they knocked the Bannister Mall down. You seen me at the car wash gas station pulling up in the wrap truck hustling. So that was my introduction to entrepreneurship. So now, applying that same hustling mindset, but now through technology, but now through education, now through different ways that we can not only scale up our revenue, but scale up the impact and really make a difference.
So if you had to put out a CD, right? I would assume this is what I would think, right? You had to do a double disc. Well, if I was to request something from you, it's over with though.
Right.
It would be a double disc. One on what because now music's changed. Now
Right.
we got to do the internet. We got to
Right,
do
right.
this. We got to do that. Now it's changing your thought process of
Right.
music. Now, with what you know now and all your life experiences, I would like to hear a project with just you, without all the internet, I got to do a song for this. I got to
Right.
do this.
Straight
Like
up.
how much of a
working-
struggle is that?
No, really. So that's the thing, man. Like I was watching one interview. I think it was Rick Rubin or something. Rick Rubin. He was talking about like making music that you like, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of the times, I can get extremely. I actually have you about to hear a tape I'm about to drop. Actually, it's called Ambition, and like where I really got lyrical. Like I'm talking about like that's what I
Going
love
back
to.
to 03, 99,
Yeah, that's what I
99,
love to
okay.
do. But lyrical, but in a way that's really like now and like educated and like focused is different. And so I'm gonna put that out, but some of it's
Mac Roy.
Yeah, it's just Mac. It's just Mac. It's Mac.
Yeah.
But this is like Roy Scott though. But like with the seasoning of like you know what I mean of Mac. So I'm
Mac
actually
Roy.
yeah. So I'm putting that out. I'm putting out so much music now just because it's like a lot of stuff I've been holding on to. It's more or less the commercial, so that can build. I got a catalog of stuff. If you go back to, I was actually looking back to '99, bro. I done released at least 20 projects. I'm almost averaging one a year if I go back to everything that I put out. You know what I'm saying? So I've been grinding it quite a bit, and now it's like, what am I doing it for? I'm doing it for family. I'm doing it for legacy. I'm doing it to really build business. You know what I mean? And take this thing to the next level.
Well, I appreciate you. Um, we got two things I want to do before we end off. One, we need a tutorial of the slide.
Okay.
Two, um, what I like to do with all the guests is if we'd never see each other again, if or my son won't see me again, your son won't see you again. What is the if you could leave off with some advice, what would be the advice that you would give anybody?
Yeah, it would be
Hold on, let me. You can talk to the camera on this one,
okay.
and I'm out
All right,
on that.
for sure. If I can give any one piece of advice, it was going to be a scripture that I live by, Matthew 6:33. Seek first the kingdom of God and everything else will be added to you. And I really been on that. I really been like seeking God first and turning that into real action. So it's not just a say thing, it's a real like activity. Like I'm out here doing that. So that would be the piece of advice I'll leave. Good.